Hi everyone, I'm Marcy and this is Marcy's Meal Deals. Today I'm going to share something a little bit different with you. Usually we try to do something a little bit healthier, but today I just thought we'd share something hearty and delicious. The weather's starting to turn a little cooler around here, and sometimes when it gets a little chilly, you just want something to fill your belly that tastes really good. So I thought maybe this time I'd share the recipe with you for my bacon sriracha chili. That's a recipe that I won first place for the with bean category in the chili cook-off at my culinary school. So I'm kind of proud of it and kind of partial to it. I hope you'll enjoy it too. So what we've got here is, now I pared the recipe down to 4 servings because that's what we do here. We do for a family of 4 servings. So I've got a half a pound of chopped bacon. If you can get slab bacon, you can grind it, you can shred it or whatever. I wasn't able to find that, so I just took sliced bacon and chopped it up real fine. We have a half a pound of our 80/20 hamburger, half of a medium-sized onion chopped up. We've got our sriracha sauce, of course, salt and pepper, a couple cloves of garlic minced up. We've got a can of diced tomatoes, a can of kidney beans, and about a half a can of tomato sauce. So what we're going to start with first is we are going to brown our bacon, because you got to have a little bit of crispiness to the bacon, even though a lot of it will get lost when we add all of our wet ingredients to the chili. You still want to try to get some of that I guess caramelization. It's actually the Maillard effect, but that's okay. Most people call it caramelization, so we'll go with that. You still want to get a little bit of that effect to the bacon, because that's really what gives bacon all that yummy goodness that we love so much. So we're going to put that in our pan and let that brown a little bit. Not to mention the smell is just so wonderful on a cool fall evening. One of my friends, when I was going through culinary school, just loved bacon. He said that must be what heaven smells like, cooking bacon. Everybody says it's a guy thing, but I like it pretty well too. I know a lot of ladies do. I know a lot of people will say that it's not really chili if it has beans in it. I grew up, chili had beans in it. So to me, this is chili. So if you want to argue with me, you can argue with me. I don't like to argue about silly things like that. As long as it tastes good, I don't care what you call it. All right, so yeah, we've got our pan on a fairly high heat, about medium high. We just want these little bits of bacon to brown up pretty quickly. Sear off some of that fat, because then what we're going to do is when that fat sears up, melts off, we're going to use that to caramelize our onions. See, thinking smart, using all that flavor to add even more flavor to our dish. And when I was going to culinary school at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, everybody had to enter one cooking competition, and I was so scared. I did not want to enter a cooking competition because I just feel like I can't think that quick on my feet, like on those shows like Chopped and Guys Grocery Games and Globe, and man, I have a lot of respect for those chefs because I could never do that. But this one was different because we got to plan our recipe and cook it back in our dorms and then bring our finished product to the competition, share it with our classmates and the other students at the school, and they judged with tickets. So I did fairly well with that. I need to be able to plan. I need to be able to think ahead. I can't just come up with a recipe and pull something off the top of my head like those guys on those shows do. Alright, I'm going to let that sit for just a second. So like I said, mad respect for all you chefs out there that have been able to compete and do well on those shows. I happen to be filming this on Chef's Day, so you've got my hats off to you on Chef's Day for that. I could never do it. Gotta love bacon. And this is just plain thick cut bacon, no special seasoning or smoke like that, because we want the flavor of the Sriracha to be the flavor and the heat that comes out in the chili. And of course, you know, when you got these recipes for your family, you can switch them up, doctor them up to how your family likes it. I won't come over and tell you you're doing it wrong, I promise. Alright. We've rendered out most of the fat now. That's the word I was trying to think of earlier. Rendered. Rendered out the fat of the bacon now. So we're going to add our onion. Stir those together for a couple of minutes till our onion starts to turn translucent. And that's going to bring out a lot of nice flavor in our onion and our bacon. More wonderful, lovely smells coming out of our pot. And again, this is just over a medium-high heat. We don't want to cook it too fast because we don't want it to burn, especially the onion. We don't want that bitter taste to come out. But we do want a little bit of sweetness to complement the heat of our Sriracha and the saltiness in our bacon. Alright. And now just before we add our ground beef, we're going to put in our chopped garlic. Let that cook for just 30 seconds, not minutes, 30 seconds to a minute, just till it starts to get nice and aromatic. So it starts to release its flavor into the mix here. Oh yeah. I can show this off here. You can see the edges of the bacon's just starting to brown a little bit. The onions are nice and translucent. Can't really see the garlic, but it's about the same as the onion. It's nice and translucent. Someday I'll have a big fancy studio and I can have a camera over the pot and, you know, be able to show you everything I'm doing while I'm doing it. But for right now, it's just me and my iPhone on a little $5 tripod. So we're doing the best we can, folks. Alright, now we're ready for our ground beef. Just get that right in there. And you want to break up your ground beef as you're cooking it, because you don't want a big old meatball in the center. You want to have nice little pieces that are going to be all throughout your chili when you cook it. Some people use a whisk to do this part, and if you like to do that, that's fine. I'm able to do it just fine with the edge of a spoon, so that's what I do, and then I don't have to pick all the little bits out of the end of my whisk. My dad, rest his soul, used to have this little thing he got at the Dollar Tree. It was like a star on the end of it, and it was a meat chopper, and he used that in his hamburger dishes. I just haven't picked one up just yet. I miss my dad. His birthday's coming up soon. I'll have to think of something special to do as a tribute to him. Alright, the hamburger's browning nicely. Mixed in with the bacon. Now we are getting a lot of fat starting to render out here now that we've got the hamburger in as well. And we don't want that in our chili. So we're going to want to pour that out here in a second. I used to have a turkey baster that I would use and suck that out to get rid of that. But it got melted. That's what happens when you let the kids help in the kitchen. Sometimes things get damaged. But hey, at least they're trying. They're trying to help in the kitchen. And they're doing pretty good. They're both getting to be pretty good little cooks. Oops. So we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. Scrape everything to one side of the pot. And I've got my little pan here that I use to catch my drippings. Just going to pour as much of this off of here as I can. And then later what I'll do, I will put some oatmeal in here with this, especially now that the weather's turning cold. And I will put this out for the birds and the squirrels and whatnot to eat. That gets rid of my grease in an environmentally friendly way, and it gives them a treat to help feed them through the winter, so it's a win-win. Try not to lose too much of my meat in the process. Alright, that looks good. Alright, so now that we got that done, we're going to add our can of tomatoes. I like to use petite diced, but again, use what you like. Our can of kidney beans. I think my mom always used stewed tomatoes when she made chili. And then just a little bit of tomato sauce. I'm going to stir that all together, turn the heat down to just below medium. And now for the fun part. Sriracha. And this is going to give us our heat instead of chili powder. That should be enough for us. Stir that on in. And again, you put as much or as little as you like for your family. You want to put the whole bottle in. You guys like it hot, you put the whole bottle in. Sometimes it depends on what brand of sriracha you use. I found that some brands are a little bit hotter than others. We like a little bit of heat, but not a whole lot. So I think, like I said, that should be about enough. It's probably about a quarter of a cup what I put in there. Just give it a little taste. Oh yeah, that's plenty for us. Little salt, little pepper. Then we're just going to let this simmer for about a half an hour. While this is simmering, I'm going to make us some biscuits to go with our chili. You can make cornbread, you can make whatever you like to have with your chili. And we will see you back here when this is all ready to serve. Take care. Okay, it's been about a half an hour, maybe 35 minutes. I've got my biscuits made. They've just finished, and we're going to take them out of the oven. The chili's been simmering. All the flavors have developed nicely, and we're ready to serve dinner. Oh yeah. I just went with some simple cheddar buttermilk drop biscuits that I use my gluten-free biscuit mix recipe. So let's dish it up. Oop, got a little spot on my bowl there. Get a little plate for some biscuits. I don't know about you, but I like to put a little sour cream, or in this case some plain Greek yogurt on my chili. I should have thought I had to get some green onions or some chives to chop on my chili. So there's a little bit of that. We got a little bit of Mexican blend cheese, just because I like the medley of flavors that gives us. So there we are. We got some bacon sriracha chili. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you try it and how it turns out. Thanks.